What's up guys? I'm going to start building a custom subwoofer enclosure for two of these subwoofers. One of the guys on the page bought a couple of these and he wants me to build a box, so here's basically the idea. This one's going under the seat of F150 and he wants it to be 11 inches on the bottom, 19 inches wide. On the front face needs to be 7.5. The back has to be 5, but it has to come out about 4 inches before kicking up. And of course this is going to be a ported box. It's going to have a port right about here, and it's going to go inside of the box right there as well. So I'm going to start cutting some of this wood to some of these main dimensions, but I want to show you guys a couple tricks if you're going to do something very similar. So one of the first tricks I'm actually going to do, I have my piece of wood laid out right here. I know that the top, the bottom, the back, the baffle, this one's going to have 2, but all these parts on everything but the side is going to be 19 inches wide. In this case, the sides are going to go on the inside, be, you know, recessed just a tiny bit on the inside. So we know that all these pieces need to be 19 inches wide. So the first thing I'm going to do is actually lay out my sheet right here. I'm going to measure over 19 inches and I'm going to rip the entire sheet at 19 inches. That's going to allow me to make some simple small cuts here, here, and here to make my top, bottom, and the other pieces that go here. So basically this part, this one, all these cuts are going to be at 19 inches, and then there's going to be a piece that goes inside right there. And this is one of the simplest ways to build a small box like this. Make one big cut to minimize the scrap and make a bunch of your smaller pieces out of those right there. So you can see I just ripped my piece here at 19 inches, but what I didn't show you is a cool little trick down here. I'm using my sawhorses as a table, and all I did was stuck a little piece of scrap wood right here on both ends. That way I could make my cut. It didn't fall all over the floor. It's still on the saw, and I didn't cut into my sawhorses. Now what I've got to do is take this part here, lay it out to those dimensions we discussed previous right here, and start making some sideways cuts. So now I've got some of my pieces cut. You can see I've got my baffle on here. I've got the bottom, the port, the back, the top, and all I can do now is start assembling this stuff, and then when I'm done I can cut the piece that goes in the middle right there and then put my sides on. Alright, so once you get this far, things are getting pretty easy. We've got the port in there already. Got that done up. We've got everything except for this top piece that goes right here, and of course the 2 sides. The first thing I'm going to do is mark this out, get it cut, put it on there, and then we'll come back and trace the sides out and get them put in there. So it got pretty late when I was finishing this box up, but what we can see here is basically what ended up happening. And once I got everything sanded and put down together, I realized that the subwoofer wasn't going to fit inside of the enclosure, so I had to add a modification to the baffle, which you can see here, and that turned out just fine. And you can see the woofer fits perfectly inside of there, just barely not touching the back. I also did a bit of a router job on the front to allow just a little bit of a recessed look, and I think it turned out pretty wonderful. So here's the finished product. I figure I'll show you guys what it looks like. Not bad. There's the little port right there, the terminal cup. It's got the 2 woofers in it. Nice carpet job. There she is. This is the finished product going in the customer's vehicle. We're gonna try it out and see how well he likes it. So you can see here on the side here, this is that angle piece that we had to put on. You notice that it turned out super nice. Everything just worked out super well. Stuff like this really isn't that hard to make. You just have to be willing to try, and remember that your sander is your best friend. Also remember, you're not done with the box until you stop working on it. So you can fix and touch up anything you like. You're just gonna make it take longer and look better. So if you decide to quit halfway through and say, that's good enough, then that's what you're gonna be stuck with. We can note on here that I had to move the woofers down all the way to the bottom, basically flush with the bottom, because of how deep the magnet is. You can see the magnet on these comes all the way back to here. So to get that magnet to fit inside of there with this angle, I had to scoot them down just a little bit. Not a big deal. Should work just fine.